Hey, this is Scott Stream. I'm Scott Hambrick. You can go to scotthambrick.com and get on the mailing list there for the big simplification where they make it almost impossible for all of us to get together and communicate. If I have your email address, at least I can send you an email. Until that doesn't work, so go there, do that. I wanted to talk about the problem of the commons, which everybody has heard of in terms of policing a park or picking up litter. But it's a problem in terms of political action, too. Because of the work I do on the Online Great Books podcast and here on Scott Stream and on my blog, I often will have people say, oh my gosh, have you read The Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn? He predicts all of this. I mean, yeah. And then they also say, have you read The Black Book of Communism by Jean-Louis Panet? Yes, I have. I have things. In fact, we did an Online Great Books podcast about at least the abridged version of Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, which is a monumental work. The amount of danger that he had to work in the face of, and all of the measures he had to take to get that book out of the Soviet Union and into our hands is remarkable. It's a great work of art, and I'm not alleging that it is false at all, but I appreciate the artistry of the thing, and I appreciate the work and effort that he went through to do it. But over and over again, people will talk to me about the Solzhenitsyn book in particular, sometimes the Black Book of Communism. And they think that because we have that book, we can do something about the encroachment of government power on our lives. Yeah. They think that because we have that book, that we should be able to our eyes should be opened, and as a result, we can prevent this from happening. And it's not true. There's a problem of the commons. Somebody will argue with me about this, but, well, there's always somebody who argues with me about it, about anything I say. But there's a scene in the Solzhenitsyn book where he describes the police, the secret police, coming for someone in the middle of the night, and he says that if the first time that had happened, the neighbors had taken up pots and pans and pitchforks and hammers and put a stop to it, that they could have put a stop to the whole thing. And that's true, but no one will ever do that. No one will ever do that because the risks to the individual who undertake that effort are far too great, and the benefit is spread over the entire society. So the first people who take that action are likely to be killed in combat. If they fail, they will be, incarcerated, hung, killed, whatever, hanged, right? We don't say hung, right? Hanged. So the risks to the individual are too high. The rewards to the individual are too low. Therefore, people almost never will undertake that activity, that first small step it takes to stop the encroachment of this, this communism or totalitarian state. It doesn't make sense for the individual to do it. During the American Revolution, we had an aristocratic class of people who held a set of virtues that let them take this sort of a political action and see it as proper. It might have been, we might look at it as almost a self-sacrificing attitude towards this, but in that case, it worked. The United States, well, it wasn't the United States then, was it? The colonies were occupied by a foreign power, actually their mother state, that was thousands of miles away, that could only attack them after long sea voyages on wooden ships, etc., etc. Well, this isn't the case now. So the chances of a peasant revolt essentially working is almost zero. Peasant revolts, if you look in history, almost never ever work. The revolts and revolutions that work are virtually always aristocratically led. It has to be led by a competing faction, an aristocratic or oligarchic faction that is vying for this ultimate power. A peasant revolt where a handful of neighbors attack the secret police who are trying to take away another of their neighbors just ain't going to pan out. This is also the fiction of the Second Amendment. Not everyone, but people on the right tend to talk about the Second Amendment and how eventually, the government will go too far, and the Second Amendment people have the Second Amendment, and they'll put a stop to it. Very, very, very unlikely. The government has gone too far already. There are trainees in your bathrooms. You don't have bodily sovereignty. They can inject you with experimental drugs without your consent. They can take your money away by just turning off your banking, et cetera, et cetera. There is no free speech. I can get blacklisted here. You'll never hear from me again. It's happened to all kinds of people. It first started happening to Andrew Anglin at Daily Stormer. The people of the quote-unquote right thought that was okay because, he's unsavory. Well, they kicked the President of the United States off of Twitter. So these encroachments continue. Again, the dangers to the individual in fighting against this are far too great versus the rewards to the individual. It's the problem of the commons. So if you're one of those people who says, oh, have you seen the Gulag Archipelago? And, more people need to read this, and then we would be safe because then they would know, then people would know, and then we could do X. No. All the foreknowledge in the world won't help you if the rewards and risks in the political game are skewed in the way that they are now. All the foreknowledge in the world won't help you. You've got to understand that you can't educate yourself out of this. You can't vote yourself out of this. And you probably, sorry for the black pill, it's going to make a lot of you mad. You probably can't fight your way out of it either. We're in it, and we've got to find a way. We've got to find a way to live and try to find a way to live the good life and to go deep into spiritual ways and family ways.